Hello, friends. Welcome to the Note Coach podcast. This is episode 4, When You've Got No Spoons. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg, and I was relaying this story to a client, and I thought this would make such a perfect episode. Earlier this week, I get a Vox message. Vox is a free voice messaging app from a friend who's like, "Hey, you awake?" Then shortly followed by, "And do you have spoons?" And this is something I talk about a lot, and I assumed that everybody knew what I meant when I said spoons, but we know how the saying goes when you assume. So what I mean by spoons is capacity, energy, wherewithal. And sometimes when we don't have clear boundaries, what was that? When we don't have clear boundaries with our family, our friends, our clients, our colleagues, ourselves, we can reach a point where we've got no spoons. And then we can appear to be quite standoffish or rude or abrupt. And those people who know us well can know the signs, like she's reached, my husband says, Suze has reached operational limit. And he can see the signs. But getting to the place where you can communicate with people, hey, I have the bandwidth, shoot, let me hear it. Or, not right now, or not today, or like unload, offload, if it's a voice message or an email, and I will circle back or I'll come back to you. Brene Brown says, clear is kind. And so often when we are lacking spoons, we don't want to appear rude or we don't want to offend. And then when we don't take care of our own needs and rebuild our own capacity, that's where we reach the point where we are snappish and standoffish without meaning to be. So it's knowing for you, like, what are the signs? So if you imagine traffic lights, I don't know if universally around the globe, the traffic light system is the same because so many things change. And also in Australia, at least, we have vertical traffic lights. And when I visited Japan, theirs were horizontal. So, there is that. But I'm talking about traffic lights as in the color, where green is go and red is stop. So if someone's like, hey, do you have the spoons? I want to vent or I want to offload. When you're green, you're like, yeah, sure, go for it. I've got you. And when you're red, you're like, not today or not right now. Or, thank you so much for checking. I don't have capacity now. My question for you is, what are your orange lights? What are the signs that you're starting to reach or deplete your spoons, as the case may be? And what are some things that replenish your spoon allocation? Like, put them in the virtual dishwasher, so to speak. So for me, some of my orange lights, I just feel snappy, like things that normally wouldn't bother me. Like, it's funny, at the time of recording this, we are renting the house that we live in, and 4 times a year, the owners come to inspect the property. And today's the day. So yesterday, mopped the floors, cleaned. I was like so impressed. And the kids get home and they're like, can we make ourselves fairy bread? Now, fairy bread, I'm pretty sure, is an Australianism. And for those listening, we don't have it that often. It's a sometimes food, but it's basically bread, butter, and sprinkles. So I was like, unthinkingly, was like, yeah, sure. You should have seen the kitchen afterward. I don't think there was a nook or a cranny or a crevice that was sprinkle free. And I was like, I just damn mopped this floor. So my irrational annoyance about this tiny little thing was a sign that the spoons budget was decreasing. Another thing is when I go grocery shopping or I go out and I buy something for the kids. As soon as I'm like, I'll get this for the kids, knowing full well as soon as I get out of the store, or as soon as I get to the car, or as soon as I get home, I'm going to hoe into it. It's like, spoons. And what are the things that replenish you? For me, it's time alone, which, can be hard to come by at times, but it's, prioritizing those windows or those pockets of time, because when I make my alone time a priority, I don't need as long a duration as when I've reached burnout, when the spoon drawer is empty. So for those of you listening, just reflecting on, what are the signs that you're reaching operational limit? What are the things that come up, and what sort of things replenish you? So for me, alone time, sitting in the sun, turning off all my notifications so there's no dings or pops or whatever, and going for a walk in nature, any form of water, shower, bath, watching the ocean. I unfortunately don't live close to the ocean at this time, but like, what are the things that recharge you? And finally, how can you have the conversations with the people in your life, with your loved ones, family, friends, clients, colleagues, about how you respond to things? Like, sometimes we don't have any boundaries. We're always open. We're always receptive. We're always on the receiving end of a ranty text or a ranty voice message. And sometimes you can see the person's name and be like, not today, I'm going to leave this on read, or unread as the case may be. But having the conversation and setting the boundary before you launch into the vent, the tirade or whatever, like, I love you fiercely, but sometimes I don't have the spoons. You can explain the concept to them. You can link them this episode. I don't have the spoons. I don't have the capacity. And it's because I love you that I want to set this in place, that you ask first before you offload, because sometimes people just need someone to listen. And if you're not available, it frees them up to ask someone else. You can't be the be all and end all for a person. It helps them create a support system for themselves that's in best service to both of you. So I hope this has been helpful. If you've got any requests for episodes, I already have some coming in, so I'm so excited. Send me an email, info@suzannekohlberg.com. Who do you think who might benefit from hearing this? Please share the episode with them. I really, really appreciate it. That's all for now. Bye.